Tom, it's Robin LaRose from Rock 101 Vancouver calling.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
And so many album covers and art projects later, and it's pretty fascinating when you look back, isn't it?
It doesn't seem like that much time passed. It's just weird, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was 40 years ago. It's frightening. I mean, where did it go?
That's what most people say.
Yeah, rock and roll, zip, you know.
It was like last week, and my God, 40 years later.
I hear you.
What do you remember of Monterey Pop, 1967?
Well, that was an amazing time in general. You know, I mean, the young people were really, of which I was one of them, really against the Vietnam War. We were against the racism. We were, you know, just in a state of protest, basically. And when the opportunity came up for Monterey, it was perfect timing, you know, because there was a lot of movement in the music business, new ideas, new faces, and it was just a lot of energy during that period.
How did you get involved in Monterey Pop?
I had done a Stones cover and a couple other Mamas and Papas and a few. I was just getting into the music business then, and some friends of mine who organized it said, "You really got to do this. Can you art direct the event?" And I said, "Sure, man. That sounds fantastic."
What was the story behind the Flowers Rolling Stones album cover that you designed?
You'd have to be there to really get it. It was a time, you know, the hippie thing was all about organic stuff and, you know, and flower music, flowers, etc. You know, and that was a common thing. It was like the entire juxtaposition or the entire opposite of what was going on in Vietnam. And so it was kind of a rebellion. It was a symbol of a rebellion, basically.
So you have your agency, and you get a phone call, and they say, "Hey, Tom, we've got a dream job for you. We want you to design the art for Monterey Pop." And you go, "Okay."
Yeah, that was about it.
Really?
Yeah, I'd done it. Like I said, I'd done a couple album covers, and the guy that got me involved in it was an old friend. And I knew him well, and it just seemed like the thing to do, you know. So it sounded great. I said, "Hell yeah, are you kidding?" And let's go for it.
Did you know what you were getting involved in? It must have been.
Well, I didn't know how extensive it would be. You know, we said they're going to have a pop music festival, and then I had no idea the ramifications as far as the politics of it and what was going on in the world at that point, and what was going on in San Francisco and L.A., you know. It was a guy named Alan Pariser and Benny Shapiro were the guys that were organizing it, and this friend of mine who called me, and they wanted to do a pop music festival, so we all got together and, you know, and started working, and at that time we had an office right across the street from what is now the Continental Hotel. It was, we had offices there, and we were starting to interview people and get things going as far as the building and the design and coming up with the, you know, all the graphics, the logos, the posters, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to save the world, you know. We were all young kids and just wanted to get out there and, you know, and put an end to racism and all this other ugly stuff that was going on. Interesting
time. Absolutely interesting time. How much time did they give you to do the art direction for Monterey Pop?
Well, I got in the late middle of '66, and I had to get it out by you know, June of '67.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that was quite a bit of time, but there was a lot of work. I mean, we did. Oh God, it was, you know, starting out from the event poster, the logo. I did an 80-page program book in full color, bumper stickers, trade ads, you know, all of that stuff. It was a beautiful project because it was the whole enchilada, you know.
An 80-page program book. That's a big book.
yeah, it was.
Good God.
And it was color too. It wasn't a cheapie, you know. It wasn't a little black and white thing. It was an 8.5 by 11. Really a beautiful book. I've only got one left. I had 3 of them, and I gave 2 to Lou Adler just to to VH1. They were doing a documentary on Monterey, and I never saw them again. And somebody said that they had lost them, and these things were priceless. And so anyway, I'm still hassled. I'm really pretty pissed off about that. But I do have one Monterey Pop Festival book left that is in perfect condition.
There was a special drawing created for this by the Beatles. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, yeah, I own that drawing. Derek Taylor was the publicist for the Beatles at that time out of England, English guy. And he came over and was involved with the event. And we said, well, hey, man, let's get an ad, have the Beatles buy a page in the book. And, now's the time because I'm putting it together. And he was real up for that. He was a great guy. I really thought the world of him. At any rate, he just called them up and said, "Hey, let's do this. Get together." Because they were all in the recording studio at the time, and they got them together to draw the book or the ad rather, and that's what it was. That's what I ended up with. This incredible piece of paper, that was all four Beatles had drawn. The images. It's just it said thanks to. Well, you've probably seen one. It's just, love for Monterey and all that business.
Are you going to do anything with this, or are you just going to keep it locked up in the vault?
I don't. What I've been waiting to do. I'm very heavily involved in a lot of political things and anti-war stuff, and also I worked with Dolphins and Whales for many years.
Yes,
Dr. John Lilly on intercommunications. Interspecies communication projects, basically, and so all that's going on, and this thing with the Beatles art, I immediately built a foundation called Project Interspeak. I still have it, and what I intend to do is sell that art. We'll probably auction it. I'm kind of right now in between auctions and bids, just bids on it. I'm not really sure how we're going to market it yet, but it's going to happen very soon because I really need the money to start moving some of these things that I'm doing.
Right.
So I will sell it in some form the original art that was drawn by them. It's in a vault in a bank right now. It's resting peacefully. So I've taken it on the road for a while. People are very interested in it because it's such an unusual piece.
Absolutely. Well, when will this be offered for sale? Later this year?
Yes, it will probably be in August, September. I'm really wanting to get this going because the way things are going in the world, we really need some of the stuff that Interspeak does. I'm looking forward to that more than anything I've done.
Hopefully, and I'm sure it will fetch a handsome price.
I would imagine. I really would. We got this news flash a couple days ago that John Lennon's glasses were off for $1.5 million.
I know.
And I've got a piece of art, the only one they ever did. It's immaculate. It's in perfect condition. So.
I think the timing is right for this time.
It really is. And the money's going into Project Interspeak. It's not going to be some hype or some, wank. It's why I've held on to it for so long, because I wanted it to be something that had some meaning, that really could create change in this whole world before we blow ourselves up,
Right. And people can get more information on Project Interspeak through wilkesworks.com, is that right?
Yeah, that's the ticket.
Okay.
But that's the kind of thing I'm interested in. So I was looking for more substance than Al Gore's thing, but I didn't see it. It was just a bunch of rock and roll.
Yeah, I thought so as well. It was kind of vacuous. Yeah. This is kind of stuff that you've been into for a long, long time. I know you designed the cover for Concert for Bangladesh with George Harrison.
Right.
That was a fascinating cover and project to work on, I'm sure.
Well, all this, I did a lot of stuff with George. We did, Concert for Bangladesh, All Things Must Pass, Living in a Material World. All of that was fun because George and I were pretty tied in, and we felt the same way visually about things, So And most of my stuff is pretty conceptual. Most of my graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But hell, I've done hundreds of album covers over the years.
Where did you get the photo for the front cover of Concert for Bangladesh?
That was a newspaper. It was out of somebody found it in some newspaper in India. It was a picture of it was just a picture of a child, a starving child begging for food, and then I designed all that stuff around it. But the album itself had a beautiful book inside of it, and it was quite an album package and a lot of information.
On the flip side of the coin, back up to 1968, Beggar's Banquet, probably one of my favorite Stones albums, and album covers too. Wow, what's the
Thank you.
What's the story behind that album cover?
Well, that was really a funny one, because I got a call from that crazy guy that just shot the woman, the producer. What's his name?
Phil Spector.
Yeah, Phil. Phil called me up, and he was crazier than a snake then. And he said, "Tom, you got to do this. You got to do this." And I said, "Well, do what?" And he said, "The Stones need a new package. I want something really great. It's got to be really great, really great." And I said, "Great. That sounds good to me." So I got together with Mick. He was in L.A. at the time, and I started hanging out with him and just talking about things. And then I said, "Well, what could be the ultimate statement of fame for a rocker, especially a young guy, rock and roll person? What would it be?" And I said, "Wow, man, it would be like writing on an outhouse wall. That was when you really made it. When you see those kind of graphics with your name on it in a public toilet. So that was it. That's what it was all about. It was about about fame from the sidewalk, from the gutter to the top, all the way through. And the whole thing got canned. London Records said, "You're not going to do this." No way. And Jagger and I got all pissed off and started giving them some flack, but they didn't do it. They didn't use that cover when it was released. It is the cover they use now. Of course, it's a long time later and down the road, but that's what went down with it. In fact, I'm singing in the chorus with Jagger on "Sympathy for the Devil," where he's going ooh ooh ooh. We were all you got all his friends. We were all in there ooting at each other. It's a lot of fun, man. Great times. Always something happening in those days.
As you mentioned, you've done literally hundreds and hundreds of album covers. Going through the list in front of me here, it's quite amazing. From Pearl, Janis Joplin, Concert for Bangladesh, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Now that was a wild cover.
Mad Dogs and Englishmen was a piece of work. There were so many people involved in it. And the gang, the group of people that got together, the musicians, it was phenomenal. And I shot most of that stuff on the A&M lot. I think I was still art director then at A&M.
1972, Harvest, Neil Young. Simple but effective. Beautiful.
Neil was my next door neighbor in Topanga. We were really tight. We were good friends. And Chris Hillman lived right down the street of the Birds, so it was kind of a music neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But Neil was a really special guy to me because he was, he was really a very thoughtful, interesting person. He wasn't just a musician, and we hung out all the time. And I wanted something really just simple and direct that just really made a statement. So that's what that was about. That particular album.
You won a Grammy Award for Tommy with the London Symphony Orchestra performing.
Yeah.
I remember that, actually getting that for Christmas that year, and it was just beautiful, absolutely.
Went in the big form, in the 12 by 12 form.
Mm.
Don't mean to pin your age down.
Too late, Tom.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite album, one of my favorite albums, because it, we really got to stretch on that. Just really make something that was a genuine piece of art, because there was so much. If you have it, you know what it is. The pinball thing inside.
Yeah.
In the book, I went all over the state of California with a pinball machine in a van. I would take it out and we would shoot it every day at the perfect location we would find, and in a perfect lighting, which would normally in the morning or in the late afternoon.
How long does it take to design an album cover? The inspiration. What's the process that you go through? Do you listen to the music?
I listen to the music. I talk to the author of the music, to the musician, and I just open my mind up and just let things start to bang around and see what's happening. See what I see, and some of them are more directed towards maybe something that is in the title as well. Some of those just illustrate the title. But I like to work with the musician and with the music very closely, because I grew up as a musician. I played the piano and guitar and stuff, but I was more interested in graphic arts, so I just went with that. But I really enjoy hanging with musicians, and I get along with them well. And there's always so much information when you talk to a creative person, about their work. It's very interesting.
Is there an all-time favorite? I know, through hundreds of covers, there's I'm really, really proud of that one?
Well, there's a lot of them, to tell you the truth, for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think the most elaborate one was the Tommy thing, because it had so much in it, But the simple ones, like the thing with Neil and with the Moon Harvest and some of those things, they're just different. They're different for different people, for different times and different places.
When you say the 80-page booklet that you designed for Monterey Pop kind of hangs right up there in the top 5 or 10 of projects that you've done over the last 45 years or so?
Yeah, I would think so, sure.
I'm also sure that you probably went to that festival for those 3 days, huh?
Well, I was there. I was in the offices every day. We worked. We had a lot of work to do, from the graphics and the printing and all of that stuff to get it ready in time. And then, as a matter of fact, and then I was heavily involved with it up there on site, and the location stuff and all of that. And then when my arty stuff was done, I worked with my friend David Wheeler, who was the kind of the hippie police force. So we keep people, from getting busted by the cops, calm them down if they were raving and getting crazy.
I'm sure there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
So, didn't you get a chance to pop a beer and sit on the side of the stage and catch a band, or go out into the audience?
Yeah, I was on the stage the whole time. I was up on the stage, behind in the background there.
Who'd you see? Who'd you enjoy?
Oh God, there were so many, man. Joplin blew everybody away. Janis was outrageous. Good Lord, Jimi Hendrix was outrageous. It was quite a group of people. It was just an amazing thing to witness and be there. It was a trip.
It's pretty incredible to just kind of look at and go, holy crap, man. Yeah, that was the right place at the right time with the right people. It was everything worked. It was beautiful. It just went off like clockwork. So many album covers and art projects have gone by the wayside, and it's quite a testament to your career, Tom.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good one. I hope I can pull this thing off now, because we really need to do this thing called Global Jam. That's also on my website. Is something that has to be done. It's not just concerts and music. It has more to do with the spiritual aspects of the planet and the spiritual aspects of the some like from Stonehenge to Monte Alban to those are the locations where it should be. It should be in what I call them acupuncture points on the planet. I think if there is enough people, live time, focusing, intellectually, anywhere.